Thank you for joining NAA's daily micro webinar. My name is Stephanie Anderson, and I am the Industry Operations Manager here at the National Apartment Association. If you are new to our series, thank you so much for joining us. If you've been with us on this journey, we do welcome you back and thank you for your continued support. In an effort to provide our membership with timely operational guidance amid COVID-19, we are producing daily updates in the form of micro webinars. Every day, we will focus on a different topic relevant to the apartment industry. At this time, I would like to direct your attention to the screen. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. Today's webinar is sponsored by Valet Living. At Valet Living, the health and safety of their multifamily clients are a #1 priority. As many associates throughout our industry are transitioning to working remotely during this challenging time, staying in touch with everyone through work collaboration tools and corporate communication is as vital as ever. To learn how our friends at Valet Living are preparing, please visit Valet Living online. Today, I am thrilled to introduce Mary Gwynn, Chief Innovator at Apartment Dynamics. Mary will be sharing guidance on continuous employee communication, which is so crucial during this unprecedented time. Mary, welcome.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank y'all for being here. If you only hear one thing I say today, hear this. You cannot, absolutely cannot over-communicate right now with your staff. You can't over-communicate. Fear is their driver right now. It's everybody's driver. And when they're hearing through their fear ears, they can't easily hear the message you're giving. So it's important to communicate more than you normally do in more ways than you normally do. You can't over-communicate. I love this little Instagram post from one of my employees. It says, pay attention to how companies treat their employees during this time. It speaks volumes to their core ethics. And as you can see from that, well, your employees might not leave you right now during this crisis, but how you communicate with them now dictates whether they'll stay when this is over. I love this quote from Albert Einstein, be a voice, not an echo. There are so many voices talking in all our heads right now. The news, the internet, all the stories on Facebook. Like, did you know if you mix a little vinegar and salt and I think it was vinegar, salt, and lemon, then you put that up your nose and it kills the virus. Well, please don't try that. It would probably blow your head up. And all those things they hear, they're not true. But if you don't say anything, if you aren't getting your message out to your employees, I guarantee you, your employees are making assumptions based on what others are saying, what they're hearing. So be the voice. Every day something's changing for us and we're giving new messages, but we're trying to make sure we give our message. An example of misinformation just last week, our governor implemented a stay-at-home order, and we were telling our employees they were essential. They are essential. We were telling them they were essential employees according to the governor, and we were giving them letters to keep in their car, although we didn't think they'd need them. One of my employees said that he had heard that without a letter signed by the governor, he could be arrested. Well, that was misinformation, but he believed it because he wasn't getting what he needed. Find ways to be that voice, but also find ways to listen to your folks. We're doing Survey Monkeys a couple of times a week, and on the first one we did, which was 2 weeks ago, we put out this question: are you getting the information and answers you need in a timely manner? We were just high-fiving and chest thumping because we scored 90% on this. And on that same poll, we said, would it be helpful to set a regular daily call for updates? And actually, we had a 90% survey response, and to find out only 35% felt they needed more updates than we were getting. So we thought, yay, we're doing something right. What a difference a day makes. 3 days later, asking a similar question, just asking it a different way, almost 65% of our team members wanted a daily call. Almost 65%. What a difference a few days make. And after I finished the high fiving and chest bump for the first survey, one of the things we've done on all the surveys is we've given a little comment box and said, anything else you want to say? Well, so I'm a tennis player by passion, and I had a tennis coach one time who said, Mary, you'll learn more from your mistakes and your losses than you'll ever learn from your wins. Well, the survey results told us some of our mistakes as well, and while they hurt, they were really helpful. Like in that anonymous box, that comment box, we got the comment, we need more consistent info. There seems to be too much conflicting info. And one-on-one conversations with employees that are working on the front lines of this. Not everyone will speak up in a group conversation with their concerns or ideas. Not being on site directly leaves a lot of room for questions. And last, send a survey asking how we feel about certain adjustments to policies. For example, packages. When we had our first meeting about accepting packages, I was uncomfortable with the decision. They were uncomfortable with the decision. We needed that feedback, but people didn't feel comfortable saying it directly. So find ways that your folks can respond back to you. Like, again, we're using the Survey Monkey, and we're also using some other methods that I'm going to show you on a future slide. But look at this. They ask the same questions over and over. Are y'all having that? Your teammates are saying over and over the same questions. We figured out there are 3 reasons they're asking those questions repeatedly. Number 1 is they need reassurance. They need you to say, yes, they got it. They're doing it the right way. Number 2 is, though, they're scared and they're not hearing the answer. So you need to find a different way to say it and say it over and over. Number 3, though, is they're asking the same question over and over because they don't like the answer you're giving them. They don't like the answer. And sometimes they're really right. And so when we hear the same question repeatedly that we think we're answering, we're going back and saying, okay, what was that question? Like one example was, we did keep our offices unlocked for a good while, and people kept asking, can we lock our door, Mary? Can we lock our door? We want to lock our door. And I'm thinking, well, we've already told people we're not doing tours. We're doing the self-guided tours. We've already told them to pay online. We've got big signs on the doors. We've closed our amenities. We're not giving coffee bars. So what's the deal? But residents were at home and bored and coming in our offices and getting in their personal space, and they were feeling exposed. So when you hear the same question over and over again, stop and think, do we need to change our policy? Are we given the wrong answer? Well, I told you I'd tell you another way we're listening to our employees. So on our town halls that we're doing several times a week now, we're using something called Poll Everywhere. It's a live ability to poll people. They just log in with their phones and they can type in their response, and they see it live online. One of the, well, several great things about this: number 1, they can see their response. Number 2, they can see what their peers are saying. Number 3 is it's totally anonymous the way we're using it. It's totally anonymous. So they don't have to worry that they're going to get called out if they say something we don't like. And it's really helping us to hear what they're thinking. Like, what's your biggest worry? This is the sort of the repeat of a live one from Friday. They were worried about a lot of things like losing their jobs and getting sick and all sorts of other things. So in summary for this, we're using several tools that I think are great for everybody. We're using SurveyMonkey, we're using Poll Everywhere, and we're also using Swift Bunny for, they're offering free during this COVID crisis an employee check-in survey. So you can use them, again, for a different way to get feedback, anonymous feedback from your employees. The whole time, every day, try to take the temperature of the team. It's really important. It's important to check in whatever way you can. There's so many ways to communicate right now. We're Zooming with you right now, but there's also email, text, chat bots. There, of course, it's just picking up the phone and calling somebody, being face to face. There's so many ways to communicate with your employees. But whatever you do, say something 7 times and half your team will say they've heard it once. Say something 7 times and half your team will say they've heard it once. You have to say it over and over using every method at your disposal. Like we are chatting, we've sent snail mail. Tom Gwynn, my husband and business partner, he did his very first YouTube video and sent it out by email and text to all our employees so that we could avoid MSU. Have you heard of MSU? It's making stuff up. Avoid it by getting the message out in every method you have. And be positive. A leader's attitude is absolutely contagious. I always think my cup is half full. Well, it's actually half full and it has whipped cream on top. You need right now to be positive. And I want you to remember this: a positive attitude, positive remarks, a smile, encouragement, a thank you, a compliment, those are just as contagious as the virus. They are just as contagious as the coronavirus. So be positive. Send those great messages out to your team just every day. Well, thank you for sharing these minutes with me. I just want to say again, you can't over communicate with your team, and you've got to find ways to listen to them. Again, we're using the SurveyMonkey and Poll Everywhere and the Swift Bunny check-in, employee check-in, but there are so many ways out there, and you've got to be listening. Say it at least 7 times so they hear it once. Use every method and tool you've got. And again, be positive. Positivity is as contagious as the coronavirus. So remember, you can't over communicate. Stephanie, thank you so much for letting me be a guest on your show.
Mary, thank you so much. It was absolutely our honor at NAA to have you here to share your expert knowledge. I must say, after listening to you, your positive energy really is contagious. So I have to agree, I'm excited to better communicate with everyone around me just based on the tips you've shared with us today. Thank you to all of our members for joining us today. Should you have any questions in response to coronavirus and need additional expertise, please don't hesitate to reach out to CV19 questions at naahq.org. We are here to serve you. Thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to you joining us again tomorrow for another great micro webinar. Make today a fantastic one. Thanks so much.